Welcome in to this episode of Coach's Corner. Jordan Woodruff with you. This episode brought to you by Sonic. Today we're joined by head girls basketball coach Mica Estrada, and hard to believe it is almost here. In fact, next week you will have your very first game, which is a rarity because it's before Thanksgiving.
Yes, yeah. So the off season flew by really, really quick, and then of course we do have that game before Thanksgiving, so it really made it feel quick this year.
Do you like that? It's Bartlesville. It's on the road, so I mean, you're going to travel. But do you like that before Thanksgiving? Because used to when I played, and this many years ago, Thanksgiving was a time where even though you had some school out, you could work and really work on things. Now we didn't have games; you had those scrimmages, and you'd go, but you really worked on yourself during that Thanksgiving break. So do you like the fact that you got a game kind of to look at, and then you got that break before you get into the midst of the season?
Haven't 100% decided yet, but I know the girls are ready to go, so I think it's going to be good for us to go ahead and start playing. And then that still gives us that week before our first district game that we can prepare for them.
Yeah, and it's like I said, you start the district the next week, and then you got the Christmas break, of course, where you have a little bit, unless you play a tournament, which you haven't the last couple of years, you have an extended break there, which you can really work on things too. But you kind of, you go to Bartlesville, and then you turn right into district play, so you kind of, jump in quick, don't you?
Yes, yeah, there's no kind of slow down about it when it comes to November and December, so it's just go, go, go.
Yeah, and then tournaments. You are in some very competitive tournaments this year, including that very first one.
Yeah, so we go to Bishop Kelly first, and there's Mustang, Owasso, Coweta. They're all really high-ranked teams, so it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, and what do you think about where we're at maybe from the last time we talked? I know you're ready to go play games, but how are the girls? Do you feel like you're seeing the improvement you want to see?
Yes, yeah, I definitely think so. They just every day work hard, go after what they need to work on. We have an emphasis every day, and they go out there and get that done. Mm-hmm. We have a scrimmage on Friday, so I'll be really excited to see against another team kind of how we hold up.
Yeah, all right, and then you don't really have to get them up too much. You play Bartlesville your first game, right? So that's one everybody always wants to win, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's that kind of rivalry that's been going on for forever, especially in basketball. So the girls are really excited. They're excited that it is Bartlesville to start out with. So they've been talking about that and making sure that we can handle them.
Yeah, and then we talked about the schedule. You also have the schedule early on. It's Tuesday, and these Fridays off, except for that tournament in December where you play Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So that's also a very interesting schedule piece because you're playing one game a week, which in basketball usually is not the case.
No, I thought that was really strange too, and I'm not 100% sure why it was set up like that, but it does give us that time in the gym that we can work on stuff that we usually don't get, especially early on.
Yeah, and then, once you get to the new year, it's bang, bang, bang then because you're playing 2 games a week or you're in a tournament and you're playing 4 games a week because of the tournament and the district game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, come January, we really hit the ground running.
Yeah. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about the team itself, and what you're thinking. We've hit on this before, but this looks like you're going to have a team that's going to have to play really, really good defense if they want to win. And I know that's something you've been talking about. Every coach wants to play good defense, but there's some certain times where you think, okay, we really got to play good defense to win. I think that's the case with this team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've got the ability to score this year, but one of our biggest focuses is always defense and blocking out, making sure we finish every defensive possession, being where we're supposed to be, working hard, and then finishing it with that block out. So we're really trying to cut down, like, if they get a shot off, they only get one opportunity, and then we'll take it the other way.
Yeah, closing out possessions is what we often refer to that in the basketball world, and you can be great defensively, but if you don't get the rebound, you have to do it again, so you don't close out the possession.
Yeah, and that's all we worked on yesterday. It was defensively focused. It was making sure we're where we're supposed to be in help, and then the biggest part of it was finishing the possession. So making sure we get that ball and we secure it, and then we can take off.
All right. One thing that I've seen over the years, and this goes back to even before you, there's times where you struggle against the press. And I think that's something teams see and they know. So how have you been working on that? Because I'd imagine you're going to have early teams that are really going to test you pressing.
Yeah, so pretty much everybody we play has got athletes that can come out and guard really, really well. So we have been doing a lot of like alley drill and 2-on-1, and we've got some freshmen that are smaller, but they're super fast and really feisty. And so we've been sticking them on our ball handlers, and their sole purpose, foul, do whatever it takes to get the ball. And so our ball handlers every day are having to go against that, and they're convinced it's making them better. We see the improvement, so that's just little by little, just keep on working on that ball.
Yeah, I remember the old drill that I had when I was in school. They'd put 8 guys on the floor, and those 5 guys that had to beat that 8-person press. I mean, that's there's so many things that you can do as a coach with that, and that leads us next offensively. You mentioned you have some people emerging as scorers. There's not really a whole lot of girls that have been a premier scorer though in their past, but they're going to have to step up. And you have a few names that you feel like are going to do that.
Yeah, so we've got senior-wise Katem Lively coming on really, really strong. She's been showing us in practice that she has the capability to score, and that she wants to go score this year. We've got Jasmine Sadowski. She's just really skilled. She can kind of, when she wants to, go score at will.
Tremendous length and athleticism.
Extremely, yes. And then we've got Jenna Northcutt, who just coming on strong at the end of last year. Just since then has been just shoots the ball lights out. So we were really looking to them 3 for a lot of our scoring this year, but we have several others that are also very, very capable as well.
Yeah, and one of the big things I think in high school ball and really any level of basketball is when you need that play, who can go make that for you? And it's not just necessarily shooting, who can get the ball to the rim. And, we saw glimpses of people being able to do that last year, but you had the girl that primarily did that who left, Kira Allison. So who is emerging as maybe when things break down can get it to the rim. And it's not just getting it to the rim to maybe go score themselves. That converges the defense, and you can pitch it out and maybe get a shot outside too.
This year, it's really going to be by committee. We don't necessarily have one we're going to look at. It's going to be whoever is that night, because every given day, one of them, it's constantly an up and down on who's even top 5 at this point, just because everybody is coming on. They're working hard. They're fighting for those spots. So I think it's going to be more along the lines of just who has it that night.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and one of the things as a basketball coach, you're always evaluating the starting 5, but who comes off the bench is very important too. And then also your rotation. You're going to have foul trouble throughout the year. You're going to have stuff that comes up. So that's the kind of right now, you don't know you're going to have your first game. You get some scrimmages to figure some things out too, but tweaking with that rotation is always, I think, one of the more challenging things for a coach before the season starts.
Yes, for sure. And we've got some coming off. We have a really strong 8 or 9 that we feel are pretty interchangeable. We can go 2 bigs. We can go 1, 4 out, 1 in. We can go all 5 and just run. So we feel pretty confident we've got about 8 or 9 that can go in and kind of be interchangeable.
Yeah, and of course basketball is all district standings now, going to the district setting last year. When it comes to that, it's hard to tell a whole lot because you haven't played anybody yet. But, you start seeing some cross-tape with some scrimmages, things like that. So what do you think about the districts? Not just what you went through last year was extremely tough, but also how's the districts you think looking this year for you guys?
This year's definitely a little step on the tougher side than last year. There's some really good teams in it. We've got defending state champions PC West, which is our opening night. That's going to be a tough one. And then there's several more that are all ranked 15 or higher in the preseason ranking. So it's going to be a tough one. But I think we're going to surprise a few people.
Yeah, and that being said, even though they do districts, which gets away from the rankings, which I think everybody's happy about because the politics aren't involved, there's still a rankings out there as well. So you guys are privy to that and see how people at least think about your team, which I think can be used as a coach saying, hey, here's what they think about you, right?
And that's exactly how we did it. So we got ranked 25 in preseason, and which I look at it as a positive because exactly that reason, and I've used that with the girls. Like, this is where they put us. Our only option is to go surprise people because that's not where we actually are. And so these girls, they all are building on that. Like, yeah, there's definitely we should surprise some people. So I'm excited to watch that happen.
Yeah, and the good thing is when you start turning that corner, maybe you're not surprising people. You just expect it.
Yes, yeah, and I expect us definitely to go out there and be very competitive, even against some of those teams that we technically should be nervous about.
No, yeah. So they're coming at you.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Hey, Micah, really appreciate the time. Looking forward to the season getting started, and it'll be here before we know it. In fact, next week.
Yep, we're excited.
So, Coach, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mica Estrada, and that's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. It's been brought to you by Sonic. Until next time, Jordan Woodruff saying so long, and go Cats.